Welcome back to another episode of Sweet Tea and Stories. Today I'm going to be talking about four-wheeling through the hills of Tennessee, actually out in East Tennessee. So this is probably, maybe 2.5 months ago, and me and one of my good buddies, Kevin, we had a few-day trip that we went up to East Tennessee, and he rented this really cool side-by-side that's like, it was incredible. And then I rented just a normal four-wheeler, just a normal ATV. And we get there, it was real early in the morning. I remember it rained, so we weren't 100% sure if we were going to be able to do it, but rain or shine, we were going to try our best to do it. So the day shows up, we get there, we get all our gear, and we hit the trails. And so we're just kind of, tearing down these trails, and it's just, there's mud, and there's all kinds of, it's just absolutely beautiful, just being out in nature, especially in the hills of Tennessee. And so we're just going, and he's in front of me, so I'm kind of following him as we're just kind of cutting through these trails and stuff. And all of a sudden, I see him hit a mud puddle in his four-wheeler or his ATV just sink. I mean, sink almost to the frame. And so we're like, crap, now what do we do? And so he gets out just covered in mud, and we're thinking, how are we going to get this thing out? We had no cell service, so we could call nobody. We didn't have any kind of strap, that he had no strap, no kind of rope to pull anything out. So we're just like, okay, let's figure this out. So we started throwing rocks under the tires. We couldn't see where we really were throwing, but just trying to get something under there because we were determined to get this thing out of there, because the only option was to drive about 3 miles back on a four-wheeler and get help. And then they were going to charge us a crap ton to get it out. So we're just, throwing logs under there, just everything we can to get this thing out of there. And then finally, we're just like, we don't know what we're going to do. And so I'm just standing there with my hands on my hips, looking at this thing just covered in mud, and I just glance down to my left, and I see this orange strap. I'm like, what the heck is that? I reach down, pick it up, and it's a ratchet strap. And I thought, where did this thing come from? So we attached it to the back of the big ATV that he was doing, like a little side-by-side, and we attached it to the back of my four-wheeler. And didn't know it was going to work, but we thought, you know what, let's give it a shot. And so slowly, I give it gas, and we start pulling it out. And I'm telling you, the thing finally came out. And when that thing came out of the mud, and it got onto solid ground, we were just hooping and hollering, just thanking God that we got this thing out. And what was so impactful about that is, it seemed like it was not going to happen, but we were determined to make that happen. And I find it's that way in life too, is that when we're really determined to make something happen, we will find a way to make those things come to fruition. And so, what are some things that you've really had to push to get that breakthrough, to get that thing? And share those with me. Put them in the comments. I'd love to hear those. But that was just such an impactful time for me. And we finally get it out. We finally got the ATV out, and just went and had a rest of the day, just a blast. And we had lunch on the trail, and went to do all kinds of more mud puddles, but just made sure that we didn't hit anything that was going to completely sink us. So thanks again for joining me today on Sweet Tea and Stories. My name is Daniel Swaw, and we'll see you next time.